Hey, how's it going? It's me, Justin McDonald. Hope you're having a good day. Today, we have a quote from Peter Thiel. In it, what he said was monopoly is a condition of every successful business. Monopoly is the condition of every successful business. Now, I get what he's saying by that because think about it. If you have like everything in check, I guess you could say for your business. Not like everything, but like if your USP, your unique selling proposition, if whatever makes your business unique is like actually working, I guess you can say, this is where like kind of being the monopoly in your field or in your niche comes into play, I guess you could say. And it's something that's sometimes it's hard to avoid, like as a business is climbing the ladder of success. Um, for instance, think about certain gas companies, electric companies, um, car dealerships, mechanics, um, certain schools of knowledge or libraries. Wherever you go and there's just like one of a business, it's is it technically a monopoly? It's hard to say, huh? But even if you're performing a task or in the business that hundreds or thousands of other people or hundreds of thousands of other people are in, once you're able to differentiate yourself and kind of niche out what it is you're doing, um, sometimes by nature, I guess you could say always by nature, you will, one of the symptoms of that would be that you become a monopoly on some level. It's almost unavoidable, but I bet there are new and different ways to like avoid appearing like that. But why should it be your fault, or why should a business be punished because they had a unique idea and people happen to like unique ideas, and maybe whatever it is, the service or product is, they actually need it in some level, and it's like, hey, I mean, the gateway and pathway for another business to step in and share that pool of, you know, spenders or buyers or customers is welcome. And sometimes one particular business or person just happens to take advantage of it. I mean, it happens in just about every field. And I think I named a bunch at the beginning too. Um, but then there's like healthy monopolies, I feel like, and then there's like unhealthy monopolies. Like sometimes, like in a broader spectrum, there's like ideas or businesses or feelings or things or companies or schools of thought that are just kind of like dominating the media on some level, and there is some damaging effects from having like a limited source of just like one viewpoint or one school of thought. And because if we talk about monopolies in the sense of like um, social aspects and media, that has a lot of detrimental effects. And there's a lot of other there's other like products and stuff too that could also pose a threat to the public by becoming a monopoly. I mean, for instance, like some people might say Amazon or Walmart on some level has monopolized certain areas of business. That's up for debate. I'm not saying they have or they are or they're not. I'm just saying that a lot of people might think of you know, banks or cable companies, again, media outlets, maybe certain consumables, maybe like food and beverage. Um, I would say like consumer goods and retailers of consumer goods probably get the most amount of like, you know, pushback for being a monopoly. But it's funny because society accepts on a micro level like all these other businesses that are able to be monopolies in their own small town or big town or city. Um, and you know, all that's up for debate too. But again, what Peter Thiel is saying too is that it's kind of a condition for any successful business. If you are like everybody else, if your business is like everybody else, and the only thing that differentiates you from the other businesses is just price, or maybe even one step further, there's just like key benefits and features, and maybe one or two of them might set you apart. Sometimes that's not even enough, and because you aren't monopolistic on any level, it actually can be detrimental to your business too. So it's like it's a fine line. It's an interesting dance to be in a monopolistic type of business where you're kind of capitalizing off an idea or something, but not like pounding your chest about it or like trying to promote this oneness. Um, I don't know how to explain it, but like there's there's I feel like when it's like natural for it to happen and the business is doing more good than harm and it's like beyond just profits, um, it's definitely worth studying. And sometimes I wonder if those are the businesses, I guess, that are in the back of our mind that get to pass. Um, and you know the usual suspects, the big corporate businesses and bigger franchises that abuse this monopolistic power. Um, those businesses, um, you know, that up for debate. I'm not saying that um, they're doing all good or all bad, but there's definitely some players that are definitely exploiting that, and you know that's why we think of um, monopolies and marketing and advertising and capitalizing. Like when you hear those words, or most people when they hear those words, like your everyday person, they don't think good things. When they hear monopoly, You know what I mean? Unless they're talking about the board game, or when they hear like marketing, advertising. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Look at this business trying to capitalize. Like, that's like curse words to some people. And I think that that's part of our job. At least it's part of my job too. As like we move forward in this journey as being entrepreneurs, is like trying to like promote better business practices, and in like making it okay to be a monopoly, but like leading by example of what I was saying before. Like, it's just like the nature of having a unique idea versus like trying to manipulate people to like get everybody to buy from you, which isn't something you want anyways. Like, if that is something that you're going for, I just kind of want to like tap you on the shoulder and say it's not a good idea if you are trying to get every single person's business. Because maybe not everybody deserves your product or business, for one. For two, how are you going to keep up with supply and demand? How are you going to satisfy um, everybody when the nature of most businesses of anything, especially when you're trying to be so inclusive for everybody, is you're going to get everybody's response. And it could be split in half, could be 75-25, 60-40, but you're going to get a lot of pushback on both sides. And if you're a smaller business, it's probably going to be even harder for you to keep up with the supply and demand and the natural flow of it. And you're just going to also probably be consumed by a lot of negative feedback and hate mail and people like complaining and stuff like that. And that's one of like the things that make me want to like become more involved in marketing and doing real market research, and having like a group of clients and customers that are actually like wanting to hear from you and wanting to buy stuff from you. Like, maybe not right away, but later down the line, when, you know, maybe if you release a book or something like that, they might want to actually buy it. But there's like you've built like repertoire with them, you built a connection with them, and it's just so happens that people actually read, but that the people that actually read are just happen to be slightly more intelligent and funner people to have on your list. I'm not saying like every single person on your list needs to be an active reader. I'm just saying, or I'm not saying like every person that reads is like intelligent. I'm not really saying that either. But I'm just saying, like, when you have people that are intelligent, that are readers, that are actually interested and curious about what you're saying, it's very powerful. Well, I don't want to say powerful, but it's very like, I mean, it is powerful, but it's way better. It's a way better situation if you have like 10, let's just say 10 people that are actively following you, that are engaged in what you're saying, that want to know more, and that you're being responsive to, and vice versa. They're like reading your stuff and they're buying your stuff. Like, you're much better off with those 10 people than having like 100 random people that bought or thinking about or not sure if they want to buy something from you, and they're like, maybe they're just kind of following you because somebody else did, or you posted a funny meme or something, and they don't really read your stuff. Actually, maybe they don't really read anybody's stuff. Like read, and you know, do you really want a list, or do you know what I mean? Do you really want a list of like a bunch of people that even if you sold to them, they wouldn't even like open the package or even know what to do with it or bother like reading the book. They're just like, hey, let me put this on my bookshelf so it makes me look smart. Like, I get that sometimes you need to get that low hanging fruit, but I mean, really, do you want to run a business where you're just selling things to people knowing that they're not going to even use your product? At least I don't. You know, for me, I'd rather kind of like break even or make a smaller profit, but have like actual human beings that actually want to like read and explore explore their mind and like learn and like and they're going on a journey themselves and I'm going on a journey myself and we're all going on this kind of journey together and we're just kind of sharing ideas with each other and um, that their support is feeding the author like as a muse to keep um, giving like content back that's worth reading. So sometimes actually having an engaged reader or subscriber or somebody that's like, hey, I don't really want to buy your stuff right now, or maybe I can't because they don't need it, or maybe what you have isn't really interesting, your offer kind of sucks, or maybe they're just like not in the they're just not in the mindset to buy anything, but they're just like, I want to keep hearing from this person. And then maybe down the line, when they have like the budget to buy, or they are just like, oh crap, I need this thing, or whatever it is, then they know, like, okay, this person's on the top of my list. They're a real human being. I'm a real human being. They're talking to me on a consistent basis. They're promoting their marketing message in a way that's not like spammy and making me feel like icky and gross or like annoying. They're just like telling me a story all the time, and then maybe once in a while they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I do have this thing. Or I do this service or whatever, and if you need more assistance with it, you know who to go to." Right? Isn't that like the best way to be advertised? And at least from me, if you're going to be advertised to, like a lot of times the best marketing is obviously word of mouth, but you know, word of text, just plain paper and ink or just text on the screen is powerful. And like if it's not powerful, then that means the copy sucks. If you're reading words and you're getting your imagination's going and you're like you feel like you're in like the driver's seat or the passenger seat of the author on like whatever it is that they wrote, like the author in my mind did a good job and at least to get you like in their shoes, to get you in the seat to see what they're seeing. And with today, with everything going on from like AI stuff to like technology advances and like uh, shorts like on for videos, right, on all the social media platforms, and just all the distractions that we have today with our devices. It's kind of grounding and relieving, at least for me, to read a book once in a while, read a nice blog once in a while. Um, like I said, emails, um, or a sales letter, old sales letters, like not just like ads that are just like big flashy ads with graphics, but like those ads that you would used to see back in like the 50s and 60s that would just be all text. And and sometimes you wouldn't know that you're being like advertised to. Like you would know what the product is, not like commercials are today where they confuse you. You're like, what is that even a commercial for? Like long form um, sales letters that were popular in like magazines and newspapers, and other publications. Like I said, back like in the 50s and the 1960s, they would tell like a story. I'm gonna post examples on my personal website and on other social media too. This fascination I have for writing longhand, uh, rewriting the sales letters, basically handwriting them, and I've done over like 300 of them. It's fun. I like it, and when you do that, you kind of like get in like your the way like it's a weird magic that happens when you write things longhand, like copy, not just like type them out, um, but actually like write. I mean, a typewriter, but like that's cool. I like using a typewriter, but like if you can also like write like freehand once in a while, there's a bunch of different things that can happen. Like first, like the pen, the writing utensil or or the pencil or pen, whatever you're using, is like kind of like the direct like pipeline link right to your brain, so you're able to like um, do something different. Like even if you're not rewriting somebody else's ad copy, if you're just like writing like free writing, like just like when you're talking, like writing something with a pen or a pencil is almost is kind of almost doing the same kind of muscle movement as far as like not having a bunch of distractions and a bunch of obstacles in the way to get your thoughts out, I guess you can say. Because like if you're typing on a computer, like first, especially now, if you're hooked up to the internet, you're going to be potentially bombarded with a lot of different messaging and messages from other people, ad messages, updates, notifications, all these things are on your computer. And everybody in the world that is on the computer tries to say, oh yeah, I can do deep work and not be distracted on the computer. Yeah, okay. Sure. And does that like work on a continuous basis? Like could you actually just write on your computer or on your phone without getting bombarded with something, with some other messaging that's going to distract you? Hey, if you have your stuff on airplane mode and you're like actually I'm going to disconnect the internet for X amount of time so I could use this device to do such a thing. Okay, but still, like, you might have to, like, what? Swipe your phone, go into the app, push all these things. When I need to write something, I grab a pen and write it down on a piece of paper. There's no, like, typing in my code, doing this, doing that, and, like, opening up the word processor, all this stuff. It's like there's all these steps. Like, yeah, I'm sure most of us can get it up and running in less than a minute, but, like, in less than a second or two, I could pick up a pen or a pencil and start writing on a piece of paper. So I know we're going off on a tangent here, but like, yeah, monopoly is a condition of every successful business. So, you know, even if you're thinking about using a pen or a pencil or whiteout or paper or any like consumables too, like you're gonna find situations where you go to a store and it's like all Bic lighters. You go to a store and it's all Hostess cakes. You go to a store and it's all, you know, these specific drinks. Or you go somewhere and they have a Coke machine, right? There's monopolies everywhere you go. And some are for good, some are maybe not for good. Some leave a good taste in people's mouth, some leave a bad taste in people's mouth. But, you know, every successful business is going to have monopoly be a symptom of their business. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching and listening. You can follow me on socials like YouTube and Twitter at results required. Send me an email if you want, and I'll send you one back, and I can put you on my list. That's Justin McDonald, JustinMcDonald, USA @gmail.com. Have a nice day. Peace.